I'm Caitlin E, and welcome back to the Lit Review. We are rebooting a series today. This is a series that I started to kick off last year and then kind of drifted away from as I drifted out of the habit of filming. So I'd like to take the opportunity today to kind of reboot it and start over with you all. This is going to be the revised, rebooted episode of Hoards and Hauls. Since we're rediscovering this little series together, I'll re-explain what we're doing here. Hoards and Hauls is kind of like a mini D&D campaign, a homebrew that I'm running just for me, against me, to kind of calibrate my shelves. As you can see, I have a lot of books. This is about me not shaming myself for continuing to acquire them, because I quite like to do that, but to try to remind myself to stay more in tune and in balance with what I am bringing in versus what I am checking out of my library. Without further ado, I will kind of reintroduce the little atmospheric story of Hoards and Hauls. After many years of studying, the little book witch has a new job at the Grand Library, where magical tomes and texts of all kinds come in daily. On her first day, the little book witch encounters a small book dragon who is so excited by all the goings-on in the Grand Library that he attempts to make it his hoard, piling books up willy-nilly and making it difficult for other patrons to find their next magical read. The little book witch has tried begging, bartering, and using her best librarian voice, but she can't stop the little book dragon from causing chaos. Left with no other resource, the little book witch has to consult her spell book to draw up a sleeping potion to help the little dragon take a nap and chill out. But all good spells take time to brew, and today we're helping to gather the first ingredient of a 3-ingredient spell. So what we're going to do here today, we are going to kind of collect an ingredient for a spell that is going to take a few months to brew, in the hopes that we can corral the sweet little book dragon. And candidly, I'm both things. I am both the book witch who is trying to make good on her library. I'm also the little dragon that just wants to hoard everything and pile things up without, any sense of organization. You can see both of these things alive and well in my personality every time I film. How this is going to work, I'm going to take you through all of the wonderful books that I brought into my home, whether through my own purchasing or through book boxes, and we're going... we have a library scanner. We're going to scan it into my home library. I have my laptop here. We're going to scan it into Libib, which is one of the different places that I have started to catalog my books. We're going to count how many things I brought into the house and then subtract how many books I read from my TBR. And then we will roll a d20 to determine what book is either a reward or kind of a punishment. So unlike a traditional D&D campaign, lower numbers are good here. When I want lower numbers to succeed. So our first category, we're going to kind of, again, fully reboot. I had started to do this last year, but the 10 books of mine that are the highest average rating on either Storygraph or Goodreads. So I've calibrated that list for us. So numbers 1 through 10 are the higher rated books, and numbers 11 through 20 are the lowest rated books in my collection. And then I will have to read whatever book that selects for me, and what I end up rating that book will kind of make the strength of our first potion ingredient. So it's a way to kind of keep myself in check in a playful and fun way, and read more books from my shelves at the same time. So let's get to scanning. Let's add some books to the library. Okay, so the first 3 books I have for you came from Barnes & Noble pre-orders. I had kind of picked these up over time, just keeping an eye out for pre-order sales, things like that. So our first is Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. You can see the atrocious Barnes & Noble exclusive sticker there, but what's not atrocious is the sprayed edges. I love them. I'm obsessed with them. I love that it's gotten more mainstream. So this is book 2 in a series that I actually started this year. Really excited to continue this and pick it up. Then this one I definitely pre-ordered. This has been on my radar from the jump. It is another part of a series that I just adore. That is the Meant to Be series. They're interconnected, or they're not really interconnected at all. They're standalones that have been grouped as retellings. And this is a Mulan retelling by Jessie Q. Sutanto. And I've loved all of the books in this series that I've read so far. I still have, I think, one more to catch up with, but they're all bangers. New adult, not spicy romances that are Disney retellings, and I'm very excited about this one. Next, another pre-order that just kind of caught my eye between the cover and the premise. This is The Princess Kills Monsters by Rai Herman. First of all, check it. The cover is just really pretty and colorful, but this is, again, kind of a twist on a fairy tale that is going to go in a direction you might not expect. I'm not going to go too deep into summary with any of these really, but it was just a general cover and captivating premise purchase. Next, I'm going to tell you about the books I bought from Pango Books. And Pango is kind of like a resale marketplace that you can have, like they have an app, they have a website. Big fan. My Pango store is linked in the description box below if you're curious. But I bought the special edition, or one of the special editions, of Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. It was in a reasonable price. I really loved the cover details. It is illustrated, but it's just illustrated in a different way that really got me. I don't know. I haven't even read Deep End, like the OG here. This called to me. I'm not saying it was sane. I'm just saying I did it. I will not be scanning it with a little library scanner because I end up needing to these special editions don't scan really well into Libib. That's like one of the things that I found that I don't totally love about that process. So I'll have to manually add this a little later. Same goes for this next one. It'll be a manual add for me. And I know nothing about it other than it was a resale of a book box that I've come to really enjoy called Probably Smut. And this is Her Dark Promise by Briar Rose. This is a Why Choose romance, and I love those, so that's part of why I picked it up. And then I picked up this box set on Pango Books as well. This is a Kickstarter original box set that is technically 6 different books in 3 bound volumes. So this is the Dangerous Tides volumes 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so each of these is really pretty. It's got the fancy, got the sprayed edges. And yeah, you can see they're kind of dual-sided. There's kind of 2 on each side. So this one is To Win a Witch's Heart by Angie J. Christopher. And then you flip it and you have To Seduce a Siren by Jenny Nordbach. So you get this really cool kind of double feature. There's also not safe for work art that I will not be flipping through to show you. So just to quickly show off the rest of those, Katie Robert is the one who kind of spearheads a lot of these collabs and these really cool Kickstarter things. So To Kidnap a Princess is part of this, or was originally part of this Kickstarter. Then we have Naima Simone's To Conquer a Bride. They're all super foiled and pretty. And then CM Nacosta's To Ravish a Rogue, which I think she has independently kind of split off and published now, but I love having it in this version. And then Nina Saxena To Plunder a Pirate Queen. Nina Saxena is the pen name for Nisha Sharma when she writes kind of romantic erotica. So I'm super stoked to be able to dive into all of these, and I love a pirate theme. Continuing with some more books that I won't be able to properly scan and will have to manually input because they are special editions. These are some more of my actual book boxes, not just repurchased things. You can see here that it's completely still in its little bundle from Probably Smut, but it comes with a lot of different stuff. This is Between the Pines by Amber Palmer, and I'll kind of like move some of this out of the way so you can get a better look at the cover. But I love that it always comes with annotation supplies, as well as like some stickers and a bookmark. It's super cute. I'm a big fan. So again, not totally undoing this yet because I want to maybe do something with the whole thing, but it's got this nice olivey green color. And then the Illumicrate pick literally came in on the last day of June, so I have to count it. But that is A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek. She's a beauty, though. She really is. Oh, man, Illumicrate just does so much right when it comes to building out beautiful special editions. I think other book boxes also do a good job at this, but I really think like Illumicrate is the one for me that continues to be just inspiring the most. Yeah, and then look at this beautiful naked hardback. Just everything's so beautiful. And then I do have one book that we can finally return to scanning. I got it at a like cute bookish event that I went to, and I think I posted a little short about the romance or the book boutique event that I went to in June, which was really fun. And I did pick up Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Moss. So putting that in the system, so to speak. And again, beautiful sprayed edges. I love that this is becoming more mainstream, but another why choose kind of paranormal romance, and yeah, I love that. I also ended up traveling a little bit in June, not necessarily for super fun reasons. So I definitely shopped with my emotions in multiple places when I was traveling to St. Louis. So I first was taken aback by the nice array of books at my airport bookstores. I ended up buying The River Has Roots by Amal El-Motar. This is just such a beautiful little edition, and I thought it was worth getting the hardback because there's something really special about it, and it's so small. I'm very excited to read this. Then I got sucked in by the sprayed edges, and then weirdly the cover kind of sold me on the premise that has the potential to be a squick for me individually, but it's 9-Month Contract by Amy Dawes. This is, from what I understand from the back cover, these two are like agreeing to have a kiddo because he wants to be a dad, but then of course they end up falling for each other along the way. So not necessarily the type of tropes that I would pick up, but it was kind of a cover buy. Similarly, a cover by, but also just a premise by. This is Dream On, Ramona Riley by Ashley Herring Blake. Like, she's so pretty. I love all the colors. It's a sapphic romance. That is so satisfying to me. Like, I can't even tell you. This one, despite its very ugly airport bookstore sticker advertising buy two, get third free, which is totally how they got me. But this is Courtroom Drama by Neely Tubati Alexander. It's for the reality TV show lover in me. I don't know. I should probably do a whole video about things that scratch that itch. I thought the premise sounded interesting. Completely sucked in by the sprayed edges and decided to give Rena Kent a try. This is Beautiful Venom. And then the last airport purchase I made was Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I do really like this cover. I know I've gone on rampages about illustrated covers before, but I do think this is like somewhat innovative and interesting, so I'm giving it a pass. You would think that would be it, but no, we have a whole other stack of books to go through because I coped with my credit card this month, which, by the way, I do not recommend doing. I really don't. However, I did it. Whenever I'm in my hometown, which is St. Louis, Missouri, I love to stop by one of the local bookstores. I even buy from them sometimes here in California just to continue to support them from afar. But that is the Novel Neighbor in Webster Groves, which is, where I grew up. So it always feels good to support. I also got to run into one of my friends from high school who now works there, and it was just such a delightful time. She gave me some great book recs, so shout out to Hillary for reconnecting and giving me some good books along the way. So this is a real mixed bag. It's like mostly romance and fantasy with some other stuff thrown in. I feel like this was a title buy, but I'm actually really excited to explore this one. It's called A Holy Maiden's Guide to Getting Kidnapped by Katie Nyquist. Yeah, I'm gonna let that speak for itself. Come on, friend. Then, on Hillary's recommendations specifically, I picked up Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. It's a signed copy, which is very nice. They had a lot of signed copies. That's the cool thing about Novel Neighbor, too, is they have a lot of people come through. They have a lot of authors who they've kind of built up their following, I guess, is like a location to stop by. And so I always love when I can kind of get stuff from Novel Neighbor specifically. Then two of my friends recommended this piece of nonfiction to me, and they don't know each other super well, so it wasn't like they coordinated a recommendation. But, when two of your really good friends are like, hey, I think you need to read this book, you probably want to listen to them. So shout out to Lee and Katie for the book rec. I was able to track it down in St. Louis. It is called We Need Your Art, Stop Messing Around and Make Something by Amy McNee. So this is a fun nonfiction, or at least I hope it'll be a fun nonfiction. Both of them have said that it's been super inspiring to them as creative human beings. So I'm looking for some of that same inspiration. Then I think I picked this up at Novel Neighbor as well, but it's Cosmic Love at the Multiverse Hair Salon by Annie Mayer. This is a sapphic sci-fi fantasy kind of magical realism. It's a real genre blender from what I could tell. The cover's kind of fun. Another signed copy I couldn't help but pick up is this graphic novel, A Song for You and I by Kay O'Neill. Their books, The Tea Dragon Society, are some of my favorite graphic novel comic book. So this was just kind of an insta buy for me. Their art style really just speaks to me in terms of its tones and color saturation. And of course you can see this beautiful foil detail on the cover. I can't say no to Kay O'Neill. I really can't. Something just compelled me to pick this up in the new releases section of their bookstore, but this is Black Salt Queen by Samantha Bansil. Bansil? We'll learn how to pronounce that properly, but it's pretty. Two more. Other one, I've been eyeing this one for a while, Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I've been seeing this everywhere on Book Talk and a little bit here on BookTube as well. I do really like the sprayed edges of these editions and thought, hey, if I'm gonna cave and get this anyway, I'd rather my money go to a local bookstore. So here we go. And then last but certainly not least among this book haul is a book that I started but didn't finish, so I'm not gonna count it. However, I would really like to continue reading it. It is A Showgirls Rules for Falling in Love by Alice Murphy. I just saw this, knew I was enjoying enough of the arc that I had that I didn't get to in a timely manner, but still would like to finish. This is a really fun historical romance with a strong female lead who is a curvy plus-size woman in like the 1920s at the turn of fashion, essentially, towards like the flapper aesthetic. It's about kind of her trying to reclaim her spotlight and that she knows she's owed while also potentially falling in love. I'm about like a third of the way through it and am enjoying the heck out of it. So give this one a check out when you can. Now, if you've been doing the math, that nets out to about 27 books that I brought into the house through either my purchasing, mostly my purchasing, or subscription boxes. So math ain't mathin'. I only read 6 books in the month of June, which to me is actually a very healthy number. I think that's kind of more my norm, is 6 is around the sweet spot. So there's no shame in that game there. However, in this game, the math doesn't really work in my favor. This means that I'm not even going to bother rolling a d20. Even subtracting 6 from 27, that is still a disadvantage of 21. There is no number in which I could roll that would save me from having to read the lowest rated book on my shelves. So what is that book? That book, friends, is apparently Love at First Like by Hannah Orenstein. I think I picked this up several years ago at this point through Thrift Books. It's a pre-loved library copy, which I love to grab when I can. And I remember originally at the time thinking the premise sounded intriguing. It is about our main character, Eliza, who owns a jewelry store in Brooklyn and kind of fakes an engagement post on social media in order to kind of, one, get back at an ex who is announcing their engagement. And she just posts a picture of a beautiful ring on, like, you know, the finger that signifies an engagement. And it just like absolutely skyrockets their sales. People are curious about it and about her and the potential drama there. And so she kind of has to find somebody to fake an engagement with. While she is kind of faking an engagement with Blake, a fellow business owner who seems perfect on paper, there's also somebody else that is still calling to her, still drawing her, so she has to choose between the fiction that she's created online and the real life thing that is blooming around her. So on paper, right, like the premise of this sounds like it's cute. The average Goodreads rating of this book, Love at First Like, is 2.98. Yikes, friends, like 2.98. You have to do something pretty gnarly to get below a 3 in the world of Goodreads. Because in Goodreads, they tell you, right? Like they give you some, if you hover over the stars, it'll tell you like roughly what ratings mean. A 3 is, it was fine. anything below "it was fine" is kind of scary. So I did do some light digging into it. I didn't want to spoil myself too much, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't platforming a book that people found was like really troubling or problematic, and this still could be true. So if you've heard anything, like, please let me know. I don't want to overly platform this type of work if so. However, from what I can tell, based on a light skimming of the topmost reviews, which had a mix of good and bad, there were some people who really enjoyed this book. The people who did not enjoy this book seem to struggle with the female main character's point of view and her motivations, which valid reason to potentially struggle with a book. We'll see how I feel about it. This will go not necessarily automatically onto my next Litland library haul, but I will have to read it before we next meet in order to collect some ingredients for our haul. One final element to this is I would like to add at least a few of these to my priority shelf, which is kind of like over here. Let me see if I can scooch it a little closer. My little rolling cart priority shelf. I want to try to restock it with some books that are new to me, that are exciting every month. Potentially I can add some from my backlist as well, but at least for this month, I didn't actually take that many books from the priority shelf, so I won't be adding that many to it. I'm just going to take one. So the book from June that I'm most excited for in this particular moment in time, because there are so many that I'm stoked for, but I'm going to add Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Moss to my priority shelf because I have been in such a why choose mood lately. I haven't read her other book yet, Blood of Hercules, but since this one came into my life in June, and it has like kind of a special place in my heart because I got it at the really fun bookish event I went to, I'm going to add this to the priority shelf. So hopefully this will get read sooner rather than later. Okay, so that's where we're at for episode 1 of the revised Hoards and Hauls. Let me know if there's a particular book in my June hoard that is really exciting to you. And, let me know if there are any books that you are kind of hoping I read sooner rather than later. And hopefully we will collect a good ingredient together for our next episode. But stay tuned. I will touch base with you again in the middle of July to talk about what I bought in that month. So thank you for spending some time with me. If you enjoyed your time here, please like and subscribe so that we can keep chatting and keep talking about all things books. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.